Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well, and we've got another Black Series review for you today. We're looking at the Plo Koon, obviously the Jedi Master from the prequels and the Clone Wars. So we're going to jump into it. As always, do leave a like on the video if you enjoy it. It really does help me out, and if you could subscribe if you're new here, I'd really appreciate it. So as always, we're going to jump into what comes in the box. So straight out of the box, you are going to get Plo Koon's lightsaber hilt and detachable blade, as always in the Black Series line. So that's really good. The hilt for Plo Koon is one where normally you get the on the belt you get the little peg to holster the hilt. He doesn't have that. Not the end of the world, but that's just something that by now some people may be expecting. So if you were expecting that, that won't be there, unfortunately. But in terms of the lightsaber, it is detachable if you want to just do for toy photography. If you want to do a shot with just the hilt in hand, or any kind of shot with that, you can do so. Apart from that, he doesn't come with any other accessories apart from this soft goods cape, which, first of all, love that. We need to see that on all Jedi figures, to be honest. We need to see a soft goods option, whether it's a cape, a cloak, something. This one's a unique one, and we'll get onto this. But if you can see here, you've got on the underside, you've got the basic Jedi Knight robe or cloak, and you've got the hood, which on Plo Koon is very long, but then you've got these kind of longer sash pieces that come down in the front. It's really nice to see that he comes with the soft goods straight off the bat. It's nicer than him just being completely plain, and it's just nice to have this robe because you could put it on another Jedi straight off the bat. I'm looking at it from that point of view of, all right, I can use that in multiple shots with different figures if I want to. To take the cloak off, if you want to take the cloak off of Plo Koon for any shot, you will have to pop the head off, which is nice and easy as always with these kind of figures. It's just a ball and socket. The hood, as you can see, is very, very long. And we'll get on to that. But in terms of out the box, you're going to get the basic Jedi build of Plo Koon, a soft goods cape, and the lightsaber. In terms of the design, I think they have nailed the likeness from the live action prequels and the Clone Wars. If I can get this into focus for you, I mean the head sculpt of Plo Koon is absolutely awesome. It looks so cool. His kind of alien wrinkly head with all the weird shapes on, and his kind of metal rebreather and goggles that are kind of infused into his face. They look absolutely fantastic. You've got the oranges and the different shading there, and you've got the the weathering of the kind of the whites and the reds that really give him different definition around his features. These are kind of his earpieces. Although it being Plo Koon from another race, another alien race, I don't know if those are his ears. They just look like they are. But if you look around the head, you can see the detail. It looks so good. So really, really well done there by Hasbro. That the weathering is on point. When you look at the the metal goggles and the mouth guard kind of rebreather, that looks fantastic too. Lots of little details in there. And I think they've nailed the design. When they've transferred it to the action figure scale of proportions. Same again with the kind of metal ring pieces on his fingers. Some nice detail in there. He's got his nails. Again, the weathering, the kind of skin colouring of Plo Koon goes through his head and his neck. And down to his hands, so it's nice to see that they've accounted for that amongst his robes. In terms of Plo Koon, something that's actually quite interesting and a little bit unorthodox is he's actually, and I don't know from the Clone Wars if I can remember this, but he's left-handed in terms of his lightsaber wielding hand. His right hand is more of like a kind of like, you know, the Obi-Wan like Force, like, you know, kind of Jedi mind trick hand, or like using the Force kind of hand to open a door or something. And his hilt, throwing that everywhere. His hilt holding hand is his left hand. So the first left-handed Jedi I can remember, which is cool. It's different. Yeah, so in terms of possibilities, it's interesting to see, especially for me being right-handed. When I when I set up a shot, or if I'm shooting any kind of toy photography, you know, and I'm putting someone in a dynamic pose, I typically go to the right hand, and I can move people's body into what I, as a right-handed person, would probably, you know, think that movement looks like. So with a left hand, that's quite interesting to see, and I'm looking forward to playing with those ideas. In terms of, you know, the design, like I said, he looks awesome. He's got the colour scheme throughout. He's got the kind of instead of the cream, he's got the brown Jedi robe underneath. Some detailing on the belt, you know, where he's got some things going on there. But yeah, typical Jedi body underneath. He's got the different browns throughout his trousers, boots, you know, his tunic, his soft goods robe and stuff like that. So really cool. As I itch my nose, my hay fever is kicking my ass. So in terms of moving on to, you know, articulation, he's got relatively good articulation based on, you know, being a Jedi. As always, the Jedi characters are typically very dynamic. If you can see here from, you know, from the ground up, like his toe point is immaculate. It's very good, and it's very easy. I didn't have to push that at all. It's very fluent, which is very nice. Doesn't really have a toe point up, but that complete extension is very nice. And obviously, as always, you would expect, you've got the ankle pivot there so that he can get into those dynamic kind of positions where his foot is actually flat instead of being at this kind of strange angle. So that's good. In terms of the knees, double joints at the knees, and the tunic, if I can get that to focus for you, the tunic is split so that he has a good range of motion. Double joints, he will go all the way up at the back. Being a Jedi, he has a pretty good split, almost completely. Again, split tunic in the front and in the sides, and doesn't need it in the back. In terms of legs, again, very good. Comes up to 90 in the front. Does that have that kind of rotation though, rather than just the straight up and down? But like I say, you can kind of manipulate him, and because he's got that split, that's a very good range of motion. And you know, as a Jedi, especially for me, like if you're having him on a shelf in terms of presence, he's definitely got a lot of presence. He's an awesome looking character. That, you know, the alien head he has is you know, really far out and kind of trippy, but looks awesome. You know, for me, toy photography wise, that's why I collect these figures and get them involved and try and you know, create these photography projects. He's got a lot of range of motion. He's an awesome looking character, so I'm definitely going to be able to put him in these dynamic fight scenes and flight poses and things like that. And you know, from the Clone Wars, Plo Koon is quite the established pilot as well, so it'd be interesting to see if there's any kind of shots I can do with that too, especially with the more and more clones we're getting, which is really nice, because I've pre-ordered a few of those, and it's really interesting to see them bringing out these Phase 2 clones again. Recently, like Rex being re-released but kind of reimagined for the Bad Batch. Mixed feelings about it all, but you know, I'm happy to get my hands on a Rex finally, and I'm looking forward to doing some different shots from the prequels and the Clone Wars era with, you know, these guys, you know, Plo Koon and some of the other Jedi Masters and some clones. So it'd be really cool to play around with those ideas. In terms of at the waist, he's got that typical set lower torso, and then a kind of rotational socket there for the waist, which is really good. He's got really good side to side, really good forward and back, if you can see that. Like, that's a really good crunch back and forward, and like I say, you can see from the rotation there, very good range of motion. In terms of the arms, he's got the typical 90 degree He will get to 90. There's a bit of a butterfly joint going on in there, so he can pull the arm backwards as well as kind of flex forwards, which is nice. So a good bit of articulation going on there. Obviously, because of the cloak, you can't. Sorry if I can get that into focus for you. You can't always see what's going on with the joint, so I always try and pull it up and bring it back into position. Just so I can actually see the joint I'm going for instead of trying to push it and snap it. In terms of the hands, they will rotate 360. There's no flex up and down, but like I said, well, there is a bit of a flex. You can see this socket here, but it's quite a push. So you can see there that there is a bit of motion, but it's not much. It's more likely that you can just move the arm. It's nice that there is some motion there, and I'm sure that I'd be happier in this scenario than I would without that. But if you can see here, like the way if I can get that into focus for you, the way the socket is, it's so deep in there that from the the sleeves, is that there is that slight rotation, which is nice. It's just it doesn't really do anything because it kind of hits the sleeve before it can go anywhere else. But good that there's some in there, and like I say, him being left-handed is interesting, and the fact that he's got this kind of force using hand, like he could be doing the Obi-Wan Jedi mind trick of these aren't the clones you're looking for or something, and stuff like that. But at the same time, he's got that ability to sort of, you could do some photography shots where he is lifting something or using the force to connect with something, so that's really cool. In terms of at the shoulders, he will get to 90 and T-pose, and then when we get to the head, obviously, so with a head sculpt this complex and this kind of built up, he's not going to have much range of motion. And although when you look at the head here, there is a seam because it is separate and it will pop off so that you can get this cloak off. He will rotate slightly, but it's one of those things where you've got to be careful here of what you do with these kind of tentacle pieces and the face mask pieces. But because of the really good range of motion and twisting in the hips he has, and the good arm and leg articulation, you can kind of make up for that not having the head movement, because you can just rotate the body in a way that's more natural, rather than kind of like he's trying to look that way and you're trying to face him that way. He's not going to be able to turn his head away from his body motion. But I mean, Plo Koon is an awesome figure. He's an awesome character. If you've watched the Clone Wars, he's a very caring Jedi who's very knowledgeable. He's kind of like the father figure for little Ahsoka, for Ahsoka Tano, like we always see. So it's nice to have him in the collection. Lots of possibilities with these prequel figures that I've started to grow the collection to include. So in terms of versatility, it's Plo Koon. He's an awesome character, Jedi Master. We saw him get shot down during Order 66, but we don't know what happened to him. As we're seeing now, a lot of characters actually survived Order 66 and that era in a way that we didn't know they did, and it was never concluded that they died or didn't die, but we probably in most cases rightly assumed they did. So I'm not going to say never, and I'm not going to say that we're not going to ever see him again in a Star Wars original series or film or something like that. But obviously he was richly involved in the prequels, on the council. He was in the Clone Wars, in the Clone Wars era. He's a very, very prevalent character. So I think that he's got the design is there. It's unmistakably Plo Koon, and he's an awesome looking character. He's got a lot of shelf presence. He's got some really good range of motion, and the articulation is more than decent. He's a formidable Jedi, and you're going to be able to put him into some really dynamic poses for your photography shots. So I definitely think that that's a good thing that you can fall back on and go to. Like I say, versatility. You can put him in many eras. And in terms of an overall score, I mean, I definitely think he's a pickup that you should not overlook. I think it's a 9 out of 10 for me. He's an awesome looking character. The design they've nailed. The paint applications on mine, at least, again, they've nailed. They're fantastic. I love the head sculpt. It's one of the best in in the Black Series line, I think. Yeah, versatility, it's all there. It's a Jedi. There's not much you can't do with a Jedi. So yeah, definitely worth a pick up, and try and get your hands on one before they go out of stock and never come back. So I hope this has been informative for you guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Do leave a like if you have, and if it was informative, do subscribe, and you'll see plenty more on the channel. But I'm going to leave you with that one as always, guys. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.